Hey there. Ooh, I'm super excited that we got to this point. Welcome to class number 8. Today we're going to explore your eighth chakra and all the many wonders that it will give to you. As I mentioned in the introduction, this class is all about you discovering your life purpose, your original soul spark, and connecting with the Supreme Being. When we first incarnate as a brand new spirit for the first time ever, there's an original frequency or a vibration in the eighth chakra, and that can get obscured or get lost or diffused. So, we're going to be clearing that off so that you can reconnect with that and vibrate at your eighth chakra with that original spark vibration to increase not only your ability to manifest, but to be in alignment and to truly know who you are at a higher level. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Where are you at? What are you noticing this week? What has been different? And I'd love for you to make note of that and let's talk about it in our session. I'd like to know what you're noticing different in your world. So let's jump in and get here. With such a big growth period, I think we could use all the help we can get, right? We're going to start with just connecting with our body. So let's say hello to this eighth chakra class and just go ahead and close your eyes. Sit comfortable in your chair, with your feet flat on the floor. And let's just say hello to your body. Congratulate yourself for getting here. And give yourself a breath, a great, big, deep breath. As we tune into that first chakra at the base of our spine and say hello to the center of the planet, that magnetic core, and just begin to connect the 2 points. And just grounding yourself, acknowledging your ability to do this quantum tool of reconnecting with all that you are. It's pretty powerful. It's the first tool we began with, and look at you. You're amazing at grounding. So let's just expand that grounding cord to meet the edge of your aura and just activate the magnetic core of the planet. Begin to connect with that force field of gravity and just begin letting everything from your day fall away. Good job. Just with the notion of letting go, releasing energy, and just allow yourself to come up to the center of your head and just power wash the center of your head out or bring in some gold suns. Just reset that to your space, mine. This is a space that God created just for you. We want to be centered, be able to be reflective, and to look at things. This is the place to be. And we're going to turn our attention now to our eighth chakra, healing space. So just turning away from the outside world as we tune in with the intent to heal ourselves. Maybe reflect back right now from this space. How's your week been? Have you been able to find that wellness space? Bringing your crown chakra to that color of master wellness throughout your day? It's helpful if you make a reminder or an alarm on your phone just to reset yourself to your master color, your master wellness. Let's just find that vibration of amusement. Can you find some amusement for yourself in your growth period? And just reset your space. Maybe bring in some amusement into the center of your head. Oh, heck, let's not hold back. Let's bring in amusement to the entire bubble, your entire aura. Maybe you gave away some of your space this week to other people or situations. Just give yourself permission to release those people or situations. Maybe they triggered you. Just calling your energy back from those events or situations or activities. Letting everything go that's been occupying your space. Good job. You guys are working so quick now. You're just moving into this space, just lickety split. I love it. You're an expert now. Just breathe, validating your body and your spiritual self to be present, be aware, be centered in this body. We're going to start to say hello to the earth energy. So just opening those feet chakras and begin to say hello to some neutral earth energy and direct that earth energy to begin flowing up the feet. So it's helpful to be in the center of your head. And I like to use a little remote control, and you can just click on the earth energy and get that flowing. And just observe yourself on your screen for the incredible spiritual seniority that you've established. Just allowing that earth energy to flow through those leg channels into your first chakra and down the grounding. Good job. And now let's say hello to a ball of cosmic energy above our head and begin again directing that cosmic energy down into the top of your crown chakra, that magnificent master seventh chakra. Just opening that to maybe 12% open. And let that energy roll down the back of your head, down the back channels. It splits at the top of the shoulders. There's 2 channels on either side of your spine. All the way down to the first chakra, and let some of that energy go down the grounding. And the remaining energy is going to pump up the front of the spine, passing through each chakra and spinning those chakras. Let it come up to the shoulders, splits, and it comes down the arm channels and then comes up the neck through the 6th chakra and the 7th, fountaining out into your aura. And we're just saying hello as we do this to the 2 parts of ourselves, our body and our spirit. As we run that cosmic and earth energy, you're acknowledging those 2 parts of yourself and integrating those 2 parts of yourself. And being aware of your goals as a spirit here in the human body. As we set each chakra to wellness, we're bringing each chakra into alignment with our true spiritual goals, the highest version of ourselves. Of course, we've got the master goal. Let's say the 5th chakra was be to speak truth or to know truth, to be fully expressive, as an example. But you might find yourself writing that book you never wrote, or maybe it's writing a letter or communicating with an old friend or standing up for yourself in new ways. So those could be the earthly goals of that 5th chakra. So there's many results that you're going to start noticing as a result of setting these chakras to wellness. As we reestablish our awareness in present time with the earth and cosmic energy flowing, coming into harmony, that wellness within ourselves, go ahead and turn up that flow of earth and cosmic energy so you can really feel a tingle or a little slight buzz. Talk about getting high. The new high. Oh, gosh. Go ahead and create a rose out in front of you that represents your coming together in harmony. Ask yourself, what color of a rose or what frequency can you see that represents your crown chakra in this moment that will validate those two parts of your spiritual side and your physical body? What color or vibration brings those two together? What color or frequency allows those two parts to interact and be conscious in this world? What is that wellness color? And just drop that into the top of your head, into your crown chakra, to allow you to be conscious and to be interactive in the world. Just vibrate at that color. And just notice what happens in your space as you consciously activate your crown chakra to that wellness color. Good job. Now let's come into alignment with this class space and you having 100% healing from this class, whatever that is for you. And just say hello to that wellness color for this class. I've set the color to a soft pink with a little bit of gold. So drop some of that into your crown chakra as well, so that we can be united in this frequency space. Just say hello to this eighth chakra class space that you get to be part of, this healing consortium. Look great. Just notice how that shifted your space. Do you feel more present, more alert, more receptive? And just go ahead and bring in some gold suns for yourself and validate all your spiritual abilities that you've been building a muscle over the last 8 weeks. You've done amazing work. Just bring in that sun, reclaiming yourself, reclaiming your vibration from all the activity of the week and the day and places you've gone out of this body in your dream time, perhaps. Energy that's in the future. Just reclaim all of that energy and bring it all the way down into the physical body. Just resetting yourself. Okay, go ahead and bend over and stretch. Maybe come out of that buzz you had going on. So, a little bit about the eighth chakra. It's a little different to everybody, but it's not a chakra that's in your body. And a lot of teachers don't even talk about this. If you go on the internet, there's very little information about it. The eighth chakra is something in between, let's say, I normally see it about 6 to 12 inches above my head. And so it is out of your body and it doesn't come into your body. And there's something in between those 2 points that I call the creative rings. The creative rings are, some people see the creative rings as on top of the seventh chakra. So that's how I visualize it, but it's not set in the body. The eighth chakra is more esoteric than the other chakras. It's more difficult to speak about. That part of you never comes into this incarnation or into this life, unlike the previous 7 chakras. And the eighth chakra is constant from lifetime to lifetime. It's not the higher self per se, but it's where the higher self might sit or reside. Some people have brought that eighth chakra into the body, but it's not supposed to come into the body. An analogy that I really like that explains the eighth chakra better is, imagine it's a movie theater. The part of you that's sitting in the theater is the eighth chakra. And you're watching a movie, you don't go into the movie, you're just observing it from your seat. The movie's changing and you're watching different dynamics in front of you be revealed, but you don't change. Your eighth chakra is your connection to the astral plane and the supreme being and that higher self part of you. And it's a little abstract for some people to play with. I really explore this a lot further in the advanced training. And it's really like your original spark. It really has the original essence of your spirit. I liken it to the DNA of your body. The eighth chakra has a plan for you taking incarnations, basically your plan for this lifetime and all your lifetimes. It's the silent part of you that you have to listen to. And you have to ask it. It won't force information on you. In other words, you would ask, what's my path? What's my answer? We have to look at the eighth chakra and ask the questions of it. Much like the crown chakra, it's your spiritual information. It's your knowingness. And that's where the information in the seventh chakra comes from, the eighth chakra. I can tell you, I have a memory of myself from the stars, from before I came into this existence. That's where a lot of that comes from in the eighth chakra. So the eighth chakra part of you originates in the original spark of the divine until now. All your awareness is stored there. The past and the future lives. It's all there. There's no time. There's no space. It's observing. It's also the part of the ultimate neutral observer to watch the thing called life. This is also what some people refer to as the Akashic records. What we're going to do in this class is we're going to look at that eighth chakra space and feel it. And then we're going to look at your original spark, your original essence, and we're going to work on it with some of our tools. When we look at the eighth chakra, we also have to broach the topic or your connection with the supreme being. And we're going to say hello to that too. As I mentioned, the eighth chakra is that part of you that doesn't come into this incarnation. And if somebody brings it into the physical body, that's a person that really can't connect with reality and will most likely struggle with every part of life. They're just not connected to the earthly reality. And you can also be up there a lot, and that's different. Some people actually read rays of light or color that you come into from the universe. So there's a lot of different ways of reading your original spark or where you came from. But I find those are a little harder to comprehend than this particular description. I like to interpret this reading, and the way we look at this is like interpreting art. There's a lot of ways to look at it and describe it. And in the end, it is about you exploring it and finding your own answers. My answers explain how it works for me. Clairvoyance that you're developing is about looking at it for yourself and how it relates to you. And you have to get a sense of that and an awareness of that makes it real for you. As I said, the eighth chakra is very nebulous in the reality of what it is, difficult to articulate. You don't really experience it in the physical body, but our tools help us to connect to it and understand it and to reset it. When we incarnate in this world, when we take on a human body, we separate from the supreme being connection and we forget how to truly connect to it. And that's ultimately the journey of this life, is remembering who we are and reconnecting with our source and our divine purpose. And a lot of times what happens is we don't end up talking about this because when we talk about it, we leave and we go to the source, and then everybody goes there and they leave their body. So let's go ahead and ground our physical body one more time. And just saying hello to the body, closing your eyes. And we're going to remind the body it's okay as we go exploring that we'll be back. And just notice your breath, breathing in and out, coming into the middle of your head. It's really easy to go to the eighth chakra, but we're going to be going to explore this space from the center of our head, from your body, so that you can bring some of this information from the eighth chakra back into a conscious awareness for yourself. So as we do in the meditation, we're looking from the middle of our head space. And in some ways, it becomes indefinable. As soon as you define it, we lose it. There's a quote: "The birth of an organization is the death of an idea." So once you make it solid, we lose the idea and inspiration. So it's better to just imagine it and perceive it rather than trying to define it logically with our analytical mind. So just we're going to ground ourselves from that first chakra. Say hello to that earth and cosmic energy one more time. Just getting a sense of your bubble or your aura around you. Just bringing in that space, arm's length around you. Having your sacred space to work from. And in front of you, imagine a rose that can represent your eighth chakra. As I mentioned, it usually sits above the head. So ask yourself, how far above your head is your eighth chakra? It's not usually significant to any specific location. Just try to locate it or get a sense for yourself of where it is. A part of your spiritual beingness is timeless, and it has information about all your lifetimes, the bigger picture. So just say hello to that part of yourself. Just wake yourself up to that, your ability to connect to your higher self. What color is that for you? Make note of that. And what's the color of your original essence? Is it the same? We're going to be working with this in this class, your original essence color. And just notice if you get any sense of energy movement. Is there something that connects you with this frequency? Do you go here a lot? Do you walk around in it? What is this for you? Is it a source of answers? Just get an intuitive concept of this space. It might not show itself visibly to you. That's okay. Ask yourself, are you in alignment with this part of yourself? If you were to dialogue with this part of yourself, what would it tell you? Does it have a message for you? And just ask that question and let it come to you. It might be a color, might be an image, or something else. Is there anything you would want to say to this part of you? If you think it's part of you, how do you open a dialogue? Talk to it or listen to it? What would you say to that part of you? And now be aware of yourself in the middle of your head, sitting in the theater of your mind, and just imagine letting all your attention of yourself go up into that eighth chakra. One way to do that is if you consider anything that would motivate you or move you or pull you in that direction. A spiritual viewpoint from the eighth chakra is not moved or pulled from anything in the world. You just become a neutral observer. You start to look at yourself without judgment, just pure observation. So, with no need to change anything about yourself. As you move into that place, that energy level, look at it for yourself. Look down at your body with pure neutrality. Say hello to everything that you've created and all the things that you've learned about and the growth that you're creating for yourself. And from this perspective, turn your attention upwards to the cosmos and consider saying hello to the cosmic consciousness or the supreme being, the source of all. However, that relates to you, ask the source what it might have to say to you in your eighth chakra. Giving me chills. Or you can simply imagine a connection from yourself to your source and just opening up the communication lines. Really, it's always there. It's just a matter of remembering to connect to it. If you need more time, you're welcome to pause the recording. Take a deep breath in and just imagine coming back into the middle of your head, into your body. And as you come in with that awareness, that bigger part of yourself, as you have this awareness of connecting with source, as you come back into the present state in the center of your head, imagine a rose out in front of you for the life you're creating. How might this life look different if you were allowing the eighth chakra part of yourself to direct you in creating your life? Some say that this is your true goal in life in following your purpose, or to reflect to your divine self, to know your true self is knowing and connecting with your eighth chakra and bringing all that information into the world. And other people say it's all about fun to start getting everything you want. It's power. It's about all kinds of things. As you connect with your eighth chakra, you can find out what it's all about for you. You can explore that for you. Now, above your head, imagine a big, bright, beautiful golden sun. And just call back more of your energy from far and wide, places that you left yourself. maybe worries or situations that didn't go well or problems, concerns. Just call your energy back from that. Calling it back from friends and family and all the activities and events, just calling your energy back, letting that sun get bigger and brighter and fuller, and just fill in your entire space with that golden light. You can flood your entire body, all the organs, fill in your chakras. You maybe want to bring in a gold sun for each chakra. Come all the way down to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes, down your grounding, just resetting your space. If you've gone unconscious and left me, come on back. That's okay. I've spent many hours going unconscious. This subject is really something hard to broach, but we're opening the door. You're stepping into that place of the unconscious so that you can experience the unconscious. It's being able to step through the unconscious and knowing where you are. As long as you're not drooling, I'm not there to wipe off your drool, so it's all good. Don't feel bad if you went unconscious. You went there as a spirit and you started to open the dialogue, and that's powerful. Just make any notes in your journal or in your worksheet of what you'd like to talk about or remember for yourself. Were you able to connect with the Supreme Being from the eighth chakra? You're stepping closer to another version of accessing your pure spirit. If you thought you went unconscious with this one, just imagine what it's like to connect with the 10th, 11th, and 12th chakras and 13th. That's a tremendous growth period. And that's something that we explore in the advanced training, if that's something that interests you. Just go ahead and close your eyes again and just reset that grounding cord. Let's start to focus on present time. Just finding that grounding and maybe say hello to the earth and cosmic energies. And just ask yourself if for a rose to represent your wellness color, for your spirit and your body coming together. And what's that color? Imagine bringing in your aura to arm's length around you as your earth and energy continues to run. Put a rose on the edge of your aura and just mark that space. Drop an essence of yourself in that rose and ground it. Maybe put today's date on it so that you know where where you start and where you stop. Good job. Now imagine a timeline out in front of you and just we're going to go backwards to your birth as a spirit, to your original essence. So it's going to take a little imagination, and we're just going to stretch that imagination all the way back to where you can find a rose or a spark that represents your original essence. When you began, you birthed as a spirit. So just looking at your present timeline and stretch that timeline back in time to where you began as a spirit. And say hello to that. And just imagine bringing that rose forward through time. And anywhere where there's some energy that's stuck on your timeline, maybe you let some little lights ignite on the timeline. You can have little roses or any other little symbol show up on the timeline. But as you bring your rose from your original spark, imagine that original spark collecting up your energy along the timeline, anywhere where you left your original essence. There may be dark spots or marks or lights. Just imagine that original essence rose collect all of that energy. Slowly bringing it all the way up to the present time mark. You're bringing your energy back from the timeline anywhere that it was stuck. Just having some amusement, being amused that you're able to do this. You can have a vacuum cleaner rose if that's playful to you. Play with the symbols. It makes it fun and more like a game. Try to keep it light for yourself. You're bringing your spiritual essence forward that's been scattered through time. And when you get it all the way up to present time, you can just imagine letting that rose or symbol just poof, explode. Blowing up this rose sometimes means that you're forgiving yourself or others. It might mean that you need more amusement because there's so much serious energy around spiritual truth, or getting mad, or I want my energy back. Yeah. Just let that rose go and reflect back on what it feels like or what thoughts might have popped up for you. And breathe. Don't go into detail. You don't want to get lost in those lifetimes. We're simply bulk processing, bringing your energy, reclaiming your energy into present time. And just explode that rose. You might have gone twice. I see some of you just going regrouping, rerouting. So collect all that energy. Good job. And just let it explode. So imagine a rose out in front of you now that represents your first chakra. And ask yourself, what's your wellness color for your first chakra? And let that wellness color drop right into your first chakra at the base of your spine. And now imagine another rose that represents your wellness for the second chakra. And bring that rose right into your second chakra, 2 inches below your navel. And imagine another rose that represents your third chakra. Let it go to wellness color. And drop that into your third chakra. Just notice as the body starts to shift. What are you sensing? Now imagine a rose that represents your wellness for the fourth chakra, the heart center, and bring that into the fourth chakra. And imagine a rose that represents wellness for the fifth chakra, and bring that into your fifth chakra. And imagine a rose that represents your sixth chakra, wellness, and drop that into the sixth chakra. Imagine a rose that represents your seventh chakra, wellness, and drop that in at the top of your head. And say hello to that wellness or the original spark, or your original essence for your eighth chakra. Just let a rose vibrate at that color. And we're going to imagine stepping away from the body and move up to that eighth chakra, into that space of being a neutral observer. And from that place, just say hello to your chakras vibrating at wellness and in alignment. And just create an image for yourself in alignment and wellness with your chakras. Validate yourself. Say hello to yourself here at this vibration. The energy that you create as you get into wellness of the eighth chakra is the expression of your true self. That's where you start to bring it into the body. So once again, say hello to the Supreme Being that becomes part or aligned with this alignment. As you align yourself with the cosmic consciousness, and just say hello to yourself now in the middle of your head. Come back into the middle of your head and say hello to yourself as you come into your creation. Really, you created this incarnation, this life, from the eighth chakra for your own reasons, for your own growth on your own path, and just say hello to that consideration. And then create a rose and ask yourself, what is that reason? What is your own true expression of yourself? And just own that and decide, can you have that? And just begin letting any considerations begin falling away from that. Maybe you can imagine little roses or lights or anything in your aura that would pull you away from having that consideration. And allow all those ideas or considerations that would keep you away from having and connecting with your soul path fall away down the grounding cord. You can also imagine a sticky sponge or a rose and just collect up all those considerations and then throw that down the grounding cord. Good job. Now let's imagine creating another gold sun. This pure energy filled with amusement and cosmic consciousness, divine inspiration, beauty and power, creativity, and begin pulling all that energy in, filling and begin filling your head, filling your brain, and all parts of you. Begin flowing down, completely replenishing and resetting your energy field, restoring, revitalizing yourself. As you're releasing energy, you're also replenishing. And just imagine creating another giant gold sun and just calling it back from places and people and lifetimes, calling it back from the future, calling it back from friends, relatives, family members, near and far, lovers and partners and kids and dogs and cats, all your little pets. Call your energy back from all your activities, filling your space, filling your chakras, filling your organs and all parts of you. Just giving yourself this restored, renewed version of yourself. And you might want to consider doing that several times over the next few days. And when you feel complete, just go ahead and bend over and stretch. Roll your shoulders, roll your neck. Breathe. Good job. Good job. Whether we realize it or not, I feel like we're all looking for a way to connect with the core of who we are with our Creator, with the source, with our higher power. But you already know who God is, intuitively, that is. We know that the Creator is our source of love, of joy, of amusement, of healing. And whether you realize it or not, deep down inside, you always knew also that you were never disconnected from God. It's only because we're carrying this false sense of shame or guilt or unworthiness that creates an illusion that we're actually separated. God is within us, and we are already within God. That's what gives us life. There's this wonderful book by Catherine Ponder that I remember reading a very long time ago. The Dynamic Laws of Healing. You might want to check that out for yourself. We're reminded that there's an infinite amount of energy all around us that's available to us at any time from the Creator. Regardless of your religion or spiritual practices, you can tap into this healing source at any time. You've undoubtedly heard the phrase, let go and let God. Believe that the universe will support you as you rise up. Even if you can't figure out the answer today, you will be able to tap into it. Believe that the universe will support you and rise you up to get your answers, even when you feel like you don't have the direction, even if you feel like you can't figure it out. For thousands and thousands of years, people have called out to the divine, to the Creator. We call that prayer. And that's also why prayer is so powerful. The sound of prayer, whether it's spoken or sung, resonates in our body and it's healing. Years ago, I studied the ancient mystery schools, and we studied the Kabbalah, which is an ancient Jewish text. And there's specific healing properties when it's sung out loud. Even the sound of the individual letters have a frequency associated with it that triggers and reconnects the unconscious with the divine. The same is true with the Quran, the Islamic holy book. At minimum, speaking words out loud or prayers can change the frequency of patterns around you, which just might help you manifest your dream or your desire and align with the law of attraction. The ancients believed that the phrase I am was a synonym for the God within you. Consider how many times a day you say, I am blankety blank. Are you affirming what you're going to bring into your life? Is it possible that your words are unknowingly cutting off your energy and healing connection? No matter who you are, there's times where we feel stressed out. There's times where we're not healthy, we're feeling low in energy, and all of us argue with our partner or our boss or our kids or other family members now and again. Imbalances can arise in any situation that creates a disconnection between us and the divine. And that's when you cut off the circulation of your own healing energy. What's important is that you reconnect with your health, your prosperity, regain your balance and equilibrium to remembering who you are and your divine connection. When we experience ourselves as formless spirit, we know ourselves as an ocean of love, wellness, truth, compassion, and joy. This is where you and I are connected to the oneness of the one being, our Creator, and we can meet and occupy this space at the same time. And that is the root of happiness. As we align ourselves more and more with this core truth and the core of who we are and source, the most amazing things in your life can happen, which couldn't be planned or even anticipated. I call these miracles. A lot of them are small. They're like everyday miracles. For instance, if you've been struggling with some illness or some health issue where you couldn't resolve the issue, all of a sudden you get crossed paths with a practitioner or healer that can support you and guide you in the right direction. That's happened to me numerous times along the way. Recently, I was just thinking I'm not happy with the medical doctor that gave me some advice, and I just keep putting it out there. And one of my friends sent me an email saying that she had been working with this doctor regarding her thyroid, et cetera, et cetera. And then I reached out to that particular doctor who, by the way, I had seen some videos of her, and I was like, how do I get a hold of her? Then I got a second confirmation of it. So that just lined everything up, and I have an appointment to speak to her. So it can happen very effortlessly. You don't have to spend hours and go through all kinds of interviews and looking for something that is like a needle in a haystack. And the same thing can happen if you're looking for nutritional supplements or any kind of piece of information. If you just send that thought out into the universe when you're aligned, it can easily find you. It's like the vibrations match. The whole notion of this is to follow our hearts. When we violate that rule, when we go against our conscience, we can't live free and happy and joyful and abundant and amused. It's only when we follow these laws of love written in our hearts that we can feel connected to all that is. That's when we truly satisfy ourselves, to be true to ourselves. On the other hand, if you're ignoring your heart, maybe you didn't listen to a part of yourself that told you to do something and you didn't do it, and then you just feel so bad. And you might even have these thoughts, oh, I don't deserve to be loved. I'm unworthy of what I want. This stuff doesn't work. Love is harder and harder, and relationships begin to implode. You might play small with your career or with friendships. You settle for less. You put up with abuse, you let people overstep their boundaries, and then you get to a place where you start isolating and pulling back and just you want the world to leave you alone. Can you relate? Maybe not today, maybe you can remember a time in your life where that was you. And at the same time, people on the outside perceive you as unresponsive or rejecting them. Then you start feeling unnourished and people don't see you. You might say you want something, but the universe doesn't respond. Then the poor me, nobody loves me, and you just simply don't let them. A lot of people think follow your heart means that you're whimsical or you're flaky or you're irresponsible and inconsiderate and selfish. Following your heart's been given a bad rap, but what it really means is to be in alignment with your heart, with your God self, and to do right by God and your higher self. With regards to spiritual freedom, it might mean something different to one person than to another. For me, spiritual freedom means to be, to do, to have whatever it is that I want. You have to decide for yourself, what does spiritual freedom mean to you? When you have total spiritual freedom, you can have whatever it is that you want. When we lose our spiritual freedom, it's because we got stuck on something we are not or we don't want to be. Consider a time maybe when you were following what somebody else's idea of the best thing for you or the best way to be. Or maybe you did something to make somebody else happy, not because you wanted it for yourself. So go ahead and close your eyes and let's just tune into the body again. With your feet flat on the floor, give yourself a great, big, nice, healthy breath. And validate yourself for being here in present time, closing your eyes. And create a rose out in front of you that represents your higher self. And what's the wellness color for spiritual freedom to you? What does it mean for you to have spiritual freedom? Look at the rose. Define and describe the rose. What qualities does it have? And make note of that in your journal. There's a quote from Pope John Paul II. He said, Freedom consists not in doing what we like, but in having the right to do what we ought." Think of that. So we're going to take a trip again to the edge of the universe. So go ahead and say hello to that beautiful earth energy. Check in with your grounding cord. Say hello to that earth energy and let that lightly flow through your channels. We're going to acknowledge your eighth chakra and just bring your awareness to the corner of the room behind you. and just wave to your body from that point. And let yourself be above the building and step above the planet to the edge of the atmosphere. Step out near the moon as you get a sense of being farther and farther from your body. Let yourself be at the edge of the solar system. Then at the edge of the galaxy. And finally, spiritually, be at the edge of the universe. And visualize a rose at the edge of the universe that represents your spiritual freedom. What is your energy level like? Is there a color at the edge of the universe? Might be a little bit different with a different perspective. Begin matching that color and vibrating at your spiritual freedom color. Own your spiritual freedom. Take it, have it, be it. Being at this vibration of your spiritual freedom lets you take steps on the path at that vibration. And we're going to begin moving back towards the body from the edge of the universe. Find yourself at the edge of the galaxy and be at the edge of the solar system. Be near the moon, to the edge of the atmosphere, still vibrating at your own spiritual freedom. Be above the building and be at the corner of the room behind you. And from there, say hello to your body once again. And ask yourself, what would it look like to bring that into the body? Can you bring spiritual freedom into your body? If so, as you step back into your body, bring whatever level of spiritual freedom with you that your body is ready to accept. Send a big golden hello right down into the middle of your head from the corner of the room and just say hello to yourself and get a sense that there's a clear connection from that hello to the center of your head. And notice what it's like to come into your body on a hello. Often we come into the body with demands or an expectation. Just ground yourself and recenter yourself into the body. Notice your crown chakra and let it start to vibrate at whatever sense spiritual freedom that you brought with you from the edge of the universe. And just gently allow that earth and cosmic energy to continue to run. And from the center of your head, just get a sense of your aura, the space around you, arm's length around you. And ask yourself, what are the most important goals you have for this life? To enjoy living your life, being happy and healthy and able to pursue your ideals and your passions. Being at this vibration called spiritual freedom, visualize a rose for your life goals. What would the effect on that pursuit of those goals if you were vibrating at your own spiritual freedom? And just describe the rose. Is it open or small? Is it growing or closing? Would that change anything about your pursuit of your goals? Notice if there's any changes with the rose. In Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, he says, the word enlightenment conjures up the idea of some superhuman accomplishment, and the ego likes to keep it that way. But it is simply your natural state of felt oneness with being. It's a state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible, something that's almost paradoxically is essentially you, and yet it's much greater than you. It is finding your true nature beyond name and form. Your higher self is the real you. And because it's you, it knows intimately more than even your angels or your guides. And it encompasses your soul consciousness. The part of you that's living with a body is just a projection of your consciousness of your higher self. It's a more complete version of you and is aware of the plan that you made for yourself before you came into this human life form. It's like your instruction manual for life is all stored there in your higher self, and it gives you all the key information about why you're here, what you're going to do next, and with whom you should be doing or going with. So imagine yourself stepping in to your eighth chakra and allow your attention to be with the higher self part of you. And from there, say hello to the Supreme Being, the source of all, connecting with God. And imagine opening up a dialogue with yourself and the Supreme Being or God. Ask God, what are you here for in this lifetime? What are you here to be or do or have? Some thoughts might come into your head. And if hearing isn't your thing, imagine yourself sitting on a bench in a park and invite the Creator to sit next to you. Notice any feelings or thoughts that come into your mind. You probably have tons of goals that quickly come to your mind. You probably have career goals, maybe a promotion, or maybe you've got some educational goals, or maybe you got goals to get a degree, or maybe you have a relationship goal or a health goal. Maybe you need to clear some clutter in the back room or in your garage. Those are mundane goals. Have you ever thought about having spiritual goals? They might include taking a spiritual retreat. Doing this training might have been your spiritual goal. Or spending a week in silence. That's pretty intense. I've never done that, but I hear it's a pretty powerful experience. Perhaps it's simply experiencing utter bliss within, or finding inner peace, or developing your spiritual abilities as you're doing. Living in alignment with your higher self is a spiritual goal. That might even include forgiveness or compassion, love and gratitude. They could even be healing your past and learning to live in the now. What are some of your spiritual goals? And go ahead and write that down on your worksheet. If you can't seem to articulate them right now, just visualize a rose that represents your spiritual goals. It's okay if you can't articulate them. And just consider what colors in that rose and a sense that gives you. There's no right answers. It's just for you to open up and communicate with your higher self part of you and the Supreme Being. Whatever that is for you is perfect. And just consider, what is the higher self and or the Supreme Being telling you? Listen for the answers or the dialogue. And if you have those answers, go ahead and put them in that rose. And if you don't have answers, that's fine too. Just imagine bringing that rose to your crown chakra on the top of your head, and bring that rose with all your answers into your space. And just imagine some gold suns above your head, and begin calling back more of you from the past, from the future, from activities and people and places. Just replenishing yourself, resetting yourself. Completely filling up your entire body and your aura. Another thing that you can do to communicate with your higher self or the Supreme Being is write a letter. And it's totally private to you and your creator, and just write out a wish list. Anything that you want to communicate to yourself or the Supreme Being is a perfect way to express it. A big part of spiritual freedom is for you to be able to communicate to your higher self and the Supreme Being with no intermediaries. Create a rose out in front of you for your ability to communicate with the Supreme Being. And what does that rose look like? Is there any energy on that for you? Were you unsure of what to say? Is there black spots on it, or parts of it missing, or is it folding in on itself, or is it expanding? Is talking to the Supreme Being hard for you to do? Is it limited and restricted? You can begin cleaning off any energy that's preventing you from having a stronger and clearer communication with the Supreme Being. just by grounding the rose and just releasing any energy that's preventing you from having a clear and strong communication. And just bring in that color of spiritual freedom into your rose. And just own that rose, that communication with yourself that you can express and pursue it any way you desire. Own the communication and the freedom, and bring that rose into your space and let yourself have that internally. There's a famous architect named Frank Lloyd Wright, and he said, "Freedom is from within." If all of existence and energy in, is inherently vibrational, it's logical that everything in existence is vibrating at one rate or another. In the case of us, human beings, it's our emotions that tell us where we're vibrating. When we feel good, we vibrate at a high rate. When we're not feeling good, it's not so much. When we're angry, it's very low vibration. Any emotions that make us feel stuck or angry or despondent or depressed or anxious or overwhelmed, they interfere with our natural flow and our natural ability to have the spiritual freedom, our communication and connection with God, and or create what we really desire. And according to the universal laws of creation and attraction, we attract and we match accordingly to our vibration. If we're vibrating at a place of fear and guilt and anger, we're going to attract and manifest individuals and circumstances in our life that are vibrating at fear and anger and guilt and anxiety. And similarly, you know it. We're vibrating at joy and abundance and amusement and joy. We manifest our vibrational match. So, acknowledging yourself and God within you, allow your crown chakra to vibrate at spiritual freedom. And allowing that communication with your higher self and the Supreme Being to be open and accessible. And just visualize that spiritual freedom color at the crown chakra. And now go ahead and visualize a rose that represents your goals for this lifetime. And ground that energetic space in spiritual freedom and communication. Connect it with the Supreme Being. And begin draining off any obstacles that might prevent you from having the spiritual freedom and communication for your goals in this lifetime. And when that feels complete, go ahead and imagine reaching out and bringing that rose into your space to have this in this lifetime, in present time. Acknowledge yourself creating this freedom and spiritual wellness. Now imagine a giant gold sun above your head. And imagine that golden sun beginning to replenish your entire body, your brain, your analyzer, moving into all the precious organs that maintain life and balance. the mystery and of creation within you that goes unrecognized from second to second in this human physical form. Just replenishing all those aspects to yourself, like a well-oiled machine that's working beyond your awareness nonstop. And just imagine restoring and replenishing and activating, awakening parts of you that have been dormant or ignored, been blocked. As you reset this space, owning your space for spiritual wellness, and giving yourself this communication with spirit and the universe. The most important spiritual freedom is to be all that you really are. Taking off the mask, allowing yourself to be all that you can be. And now take a moment what your mission statement for this eighth chakra might be. For example, I am divinely connected. I have spiritual freedom and I claim all my life goals. I am aligned with Source. I have open, clear channels to the divine. And you can add this statement to your list of 7 statements. And you've created an 8 statement, mission statement for you, for this life. To guide yourself at the highest frequency possible. I'll leave you with a quote from the Buddha, who said, "Your work is to discover your work, and then, with all your heart, to give it to yourself." So there you go. You've done amazing work. And I just applaud you, honor you for stepping into the magnificence of who you are and sharing it with the world. Have a magical week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in your one-to-one session. Good job. You did great work.